Washington is rattled tonight. A shockwave hits Donald Trump's inner circle, and fresh cracks appear inside one of America's most powerful institutions. At the center of the storm, a sudden exit from the very top. Questions are mounting, speculation is swirling, and now the president weighs in. Donald Trump responds, thanking Bongino for his service, even as uncertainty grips the Bureau.
Oh, Dan did a great job.
Dan Bongino, the FBI's Deputy Director, announced his resignation in a shocking disclosure. Bongino said he will step down from his post next month, in January. In a post on X, Bongino thanked Trump, FBI Director Kash Patel, and Attorney General Pam Bondi. A decision that has ignited questions inside Washington and far beyond. Bongino announced stepping down hours after President Donald Trump said the former podcaster wanted to return to broadcasting.
Oh, Dan did a great job. I think he wants to go back to his show. Yeah, I did.
The announcement was sudden, but the storm had been building for months. But behind the farewell is a deeper power struggle. Bongino, a close ally of Trump, had been planning to step down. It was widely anticipated as he has clashed in recent months with Trump administration officials, including Attorney General Pam Bondi, over the handling of the file of dead sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. His announcement also comes as the Department of Justice faces a Friday deadline to release files related to Epstein and his alleged accomplices. Dan Bongino's exit marks the end of a brief and controversial tenure of Bongino as the FBI's second highest-ranking official. 51-year-old Bongino was a former New York City police officer and a U.S. Secret Service agent before becoming the number 2 at the FBI. He was an unconventional choice for the FBI's number 2 role. The deputy director position has traditionally been filled by career agents who rose through the Bureau's ranks. His appointment went ahead despite objections from the FBI Agents Association, which represents about 14,000 mostly current agents. The group had opposed installing a political appointee in a role long viewed as operational rather than ideological. Bongino's time at the FBI was repeatedly overshadowed by statements he had made before entering government. As a podcaster, he promoted a range of conspiracy theories that later became a liability once he assumed a senior leadership role. Among the most prominent were claims linked to the January 6, 2021 assault on the U.S. Capitol by Trump supporters. Bongino had alleged that the pipe bombs planted outside the Democratic and Republican National Committee offices on the eve of the attack were an FBI inside job. Here is another viral testimony of Dan Bongino on an assassination plot on Donald Trump in a rally in Pennsylvania in the run-up to the U.S. presidential election in 2024.
As somebody with a lot of experience in the Secret Service, is it correct, sir, that you at this point have members of the Secret Service whistleblowing and calling you right now to talk to you about the culture of the Secret Service?
There are so many. It's getting to the point now where I thank them and say, but I've already heard that from 10 other guys. And I bring that up because none of these problems are new. Anybody telling you that is lying directly to your face, and you better hope they're not under oath. Anyone is suggesting in a congressional hearing or elsewhere that these problems are new, the personnel problems, the logistics problems, the manpower problems, the technology problems. I just told you a sad running joke in the service when I was there. I'm gone since 2011. Last time I checked, it's 2024. It was yesterday's technology tomorrow. And other things here that are inexcusable that have been brought up before, like Ben and Eric just brought up. The communication failures are basic. This isn't like the Secret Service $1 million radio system that uses NSA-level encryption magically broke down that day. They literally handed them a radio they didn't take. This is why when Congressman Mills says, you know, borderline criminal negligence, you should take that seriously. What could possibly be your excuse to say, you know what, I don't really need to communicate with the law enforcement guys out there on the scene. We asked to, they had no obligation to be there. It's a Secret Service's job to protect the president. Out of a courtesy, they showed up. And you don't even have the respect of these local law enforcement people, respect for them to take the radio? I mean, where was the CP, the command post? The way this works, so everybody understands, or it's supposed to and didn't that day, for reasons still unexplained outside of, again, obscene negligence, any trip for a high-level protectee, you're supposed to have a command post that runs the whole trip at the airport or whatever. They'll communicate with everyone. But those individual sites, like in Butler County, have security rooms themselves, which are kind of mini CPs at each site. Where was it? According to what Ben said before, and from what I've heard, it was either not there or the locals were running it, offered communications, and the Secret Service, whose job it was that day to protect President Trump, said, we're going to pass on the comms. Really, you described it as catastrophic. He's 100% correct. Eric knows exactly what he's talking about. Just apocalyptic failure.
Mr. Bongino, in your opinion, is the Secret Service in a better spot today with Director Rowe in charge?
No, it's worse. And sadly, I'm glad this is all being recorded, because when something else happens, and I hope it doesn't, I pray to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, that I'm wrong. That you play this and go, look, that guy was crazy. Last incident in your mind. Seen over and over. We saw the Georgia grenade incident with President Bush. They overtook the magnetometers. The Secret Service leadership in charge now with the exact same people. Exact same. Can you imagine a C-suite at a company that makes widgets? We find out that there's a design defect. The widget explodes and kills 10 people, and the CTO gets a promotion to CEO. You understand that's what happened here, correct? These are the same people. Kim Cheadle, the director, wasn't even fired. She was allowed to resign. She'll go get some cushy job somewhere, and her deputy, who is one of the guys behind these stupid waste of time things like agents wearing red ties on the detail. Because this actually happened, by the way. These people will tell you this under oath if you get the right people. He was concerned about the tie color of the agents on the detail because it seemed to imply he supported President Trump. Congressman Biggs wearing a red tie. You're wearing a semi-red tie. It has nothing to do with anything. This is the kind of stuff the Secret Service was actually wasting their time with while withholding CSU counter surveillance assets and counter sniper assets from probably the most threatened man on earth. If you can explain it, good luck, because that's not the agency I worked for.